What up?
Be good. Draw on the board. Do some drawing today.
How many conventions have you been to in your time?
Like Puerto Rico, Bahamas, Cabo.
Think they get better each year?
What's up, y'all?
Eric.
We got Eric.
Eric went to Cancun.
Got your sales coffee today. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Cool. What's up, y'all? We're gonna go over some fun stuff today, making some money, revenue generating activities. Nice. Go over some numbers, like Tommy on his board. Give it a minute. We'll give it a minute. Three minutes, 4 minutes. Oh, I did. Eric looks good and cozy in his hoodie. Keeping warm.
Always.
Top of the morning to you.
Morning. How we doing?
How we doing?
Go over some fun stuff today with everybody.
Good.
Talk about convention since that's the topic of the day. We wanted to be there. What's coming up for everybody? What time is it? Okay, we got another minute or two.
What's going on, bro?
Welcome. You got your coffee for the sales coffee.
Yep.
I always drink mine right before we start. I gotta get my coffee a little bit later or something like that.
Here.
If I get defeats the purpose.
I know. I don't know. It's like some natural coffee. That clean juice place.
Oh,
I have-
clean juice,
You
okay.
can have.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Craziest thing is like when you go into like an in-person and you have them like make coffee or something like that. And then you're like sitting there like just drinking coffee with them or something.
That's the best.
They'll grab you like Starbucks.
You got to show up with doing some coffee for them.
No, I remember this one lady. She had us set up like pastries, donuts, coffee. She was ready to go over some of her life insurance programs.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
awesome. You're like enjoying just like
That's
sitting
the
there.
best.
Yeah.
How often do you run into something like that?
We got a minute.
Very
People
often.
still hopping on here.
But you'd be surprised, man. People are nice. Like this, there's a lot of nice people out there. Like kind of bring back the humanity.
I think in person. Sounds in community in person as well as in training.
Do it like you had it
You
before.
learn a lot about like people. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about just like business.
Awesome. We're gonna go over some good numbers for you today. Tracking your numbers and where everyone is, Cancun, but we're gonna get prepped for a Vegas run for everybody. So I have all the numbers. We'll throw them out there for everybody so you can know your number. And also, you guys, definitely for the sales coffee, stop me if you guys have any questions out there. Can't really see everybody, but if you guys just need me to repeat anything or you want me to talk about one thing, we're gonna go over something that's a huge revenue stream for you. So we get paid in many different ways. And, you know, one of the best revenue streams to help grow your business is the personal recruit bonus. So you guys know in your first 90 days, guys, we got $750 in your first 90 days. Going to 250 after 90 days. Just obviously, you know, to build your team. And help more people, you know, mostly. And I'm going to go over the personal recruiting script, and we're going to practice that. And you guys have got to be able to just talk to people when you're out. Every transaction when you buy something needs to be an interaction about your business, because you guys, we're all in business for ourselves. And talking to one or two people, it might not even be that individual that you're speaking with, but they may have friends, kids that are going to either help you get another enrollment to help a family, or B, help your business. Because guys, everyone here, you're the CEO, you know, of your own business. Okay, you run your own business, you are the CEO. And you know, a big thing to start with, I was in the situation where I knew I was going to say, okay, let me stick my big toe in a little bit. Let me see how I do. But obviously we all know how quick 90 days go. It's like a heartbeat. So if you're still in your 90 days, definitely take advantage. If you're not, still take advantage. You know, 250 invested into anything, into your business. You know, it's going to be a nice boost, because before we never had even a 250 bonus. When we were building teams, we built a team because we wanted to help more people by, you know, expanding our efforts and teaching our systems and procedures. But, you know, that personal recruiting bonus is going to boost that. But have your starting 10, write it down. Some people, you may have 2 or 3 people in mind, or, you know, that you spoke with already, but get them on paper. I think it was like your things will be 95% more likely to happen, whether it's a goal, if it's just written on paper, real pen. It's when it gets real. Having your starting 10. And what's really nice about your starting 10 is that everybody, we're going to take 2 plane loads to Vegas, right? So if you have your starting 10, I believe it's your first 4 personals are able to count for up to 50% of your convention qualification. So you're growing your team, but also your first 10,000 ALP. Come on in, welcome. Your first 10,000 ALP is going to come off of your convention number. Okay, so knowing the scoreboard, you know, is definitely something that's important, but who knows the personal recruiting script? I'm sure you heard it. You heard it a million times. I always do it when I like to buy shoes. I'm sure you guys like to buy shoes, Nikes, basketball shoes, running shoes, office shoes. Every time you buy a pair of shoes, you have to do this. Or you buy a pair of pants. That's why I love going to the mall, is to get 2 or 3 or 4 names and numbers, because your money's going to come back. That pair of shoes that you want, even LeBron's, I think, Josh, you got a pair of LeBron, they're usually like $200 or $300. It's been a while since I bought LeBron's, but they're going to pay for themselves. Now, don't go getting 25 pairs of shoes. You know, take it easy, maybe 1 or 2 to start. Like, it's all coming back, but, you know, it's huge. It does come back. One piece of business, as soon as they get their agent code, just by talking to people, you know, is going to be huge. So I'm going to touch on the personal recruiting script and a couple other kind of things you're able just to say to people. Just get comfortable, talk to them. And, you know, especially if you're buying a few pair of shoes, or you're buying, you know, bags of Christmas gifts, they're going to be like, wow, this guy's getting like 7 pairs of shoes. He must be a little bit successful. So they might just be curious about a few things, but the personal recruiting script is simply asking them, you know, wow, you did a great job. You would probably kill it at our company. We just opened a new office. And what are they going to say?
What do you do?
What's your company, or what do you do? Great, exactly. Well, we actually do consulting. We work with over 20,000 different groups. We handle their benefit programs. We use insurances to help protect our members. We actually get to help help a lot of people, make great money do it. And I'm sure, Steven, I'm sure you like helping people.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask them, a lot of times you'll just talk to them and be like, what do you do anything besides this? Or how long have you been working here? Because if it's at, Champ Sports, it can be great, but it's probably not going to be their be all end all. They're not going to retire from there. So asking them, if they're younger, you could ask them, do you go to school locally? And they're going to tell you, yes or no. How long have you worked here? And I'll say, are you married to this? And most people are going to say, you're not going to be married to this. I'll tell you what, my company, we opened a brand new office in Des Plaines in the past year. We actually have a record-breaking growth. We broke the all-time record this past week, 150,000. I'll tell you what, write down your name and number. I know the hiring director. Next time they're hiring, I'll just have them simply give you a call. So just write down your name, number, and I always add on their email on there. So you can just email them just in case, the digits off, and make sure you look at somebody's number and email, because if they're at work, they may just scribble it. So make sure you can actually read it, because I've had a couple numbers where maybe you can only get a hold by email if the number was off. So, make sure you double check those. People are going to say, hey, I'll tell you what, you have a card? So I actually gave my last card out, because let's face it, in years of business, you can hand out thousands of cards. A percentage of the people will return your call, but just handing out cards is not going to get us the result that we want, and getting them in the opportunity. So getting their name and number written down, so important. Having them give you their info. So let's role play it. Steven. Oh, here's your shoes. Great job.
Hey, thanks, man. Hey, you did a real good job today.
Oh, thanks.
So how long you been doing this for?
I work here at Champ Sports it's been about a year.
Oh, yeah, you going to school in the area? From the area?
No, just been working here, providing for my child.
Oh, okay, you got a kid. How old are they?
Oh, he's 7.
Oh, all right. Okay, you've been doing the remote schooling with everything that's been going on.
That's right.
How's that been?
It's a challenge, but
Yeah.
we're getting by.
Yeah, I can imagine this challenge between we're working here and having to make sure he's on task, right?
That's it. So it's $150 for your shoes here, pal.
All right, there you go. And I think you'd be pretty good at what we do.
Oh, really? Why? What do you do?
We actually do consulting for over 40,000 different groups.
Consultants in the financial service industry. I messed it up. Sorry. What do you guys do?
We're consultants in the financial services industry.
We use insurance to help protect our members' assets. So that's the line I messed it up when I first said it. Consultants in the financial services industry. We use insurances to protect our members' assets.
When we're consultants in the financial services industry, we use insurance products to protect our members' assets.
Oh, wow. That sounds pretty legit.
Yeah, we get to help a lot of people. It's actually a lot of fun, and you make pretty good money doing it.
Yeah, I actually like helping people.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you did a great job today.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Tell you what, I know the hiring manager. So how about you just write down your name, number, and your email too, and the next time we're hiring, I'll have them give you a call.
That sounds pretty decent.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. And sometimes you definitely do not want to get really TMI at someone you're just obviously getting their number, but you can also drop things in there where you're able to help a lot of people and get paid residually for the rest of your entire life. So something small like that, they'd be like, to get paid residually for the rest of your entire life, that sounds pretty decent. Maybe I'll see what this cat Steven has to say. What's the worst that can happen? We hop on a Zoom call for 30 minutes with your manager and it's not a fit. So, the big thing with personals is one person says one thing, or they say, oh, this is this, or this seems like a scam. It is a scam. There are people still confused about money. You heard about a scam there. It is a scam. They feel like sometimes they pay us too much money for helping so many people. So don't worry about that one person that says, I'm good at it. Maybe you asked. To really just stop your personal recruiting. Or I've seen it in the past to where maybe you actually brought someone along and something happened to where the timing was not right for them. But the big thing, just like when you're out in the field, is really, you know, don't stop, keep going with personal recruiting. Don't, if someone ghosts you for an interview or, you know, says one thing, looks at, you know, whatever, just obviously keep growing, keep your eye on your, you know, starting 10 and then track these numbers. Because, you know, one person blessing with an opportunity that's going to change their entire life.
Why don't we just say in the person, like, well, why do we say the whole thing about consult? Why don't we just say we sell life insurance? What's the rationale?
Because a lot of people, unfortunately, have the wrong idea about it. It doesn't sound quite as sexy, and you're going to get a lot more people. No, maybe they just don't want to sell life insurance, but we're consulting in the financial service industry, what we are, and we use insurances to protect our members' assets. What's most important to them. Sounds just kind of a little bit better, a little more appealing than come do life insurance with us, buddy. You know, so what we are financial professionals. We do consult our members. We use consulting to help protect our members. I tell you what, we get to help a lot of people make great money doing it. I'm sure you don't mind helping people, Stephen. I tell you what, on that receipt you just gave me, go ahead and write down your number, because I know the hiring director, they're going to be doing some hiring in the next upcoming weeks because we're at a tremendous point of growth. Go ahead and write down your number and email on there, and I'll pass it along to them. That way, next time they're hiring, I'll potentially have them give you a call. I can't promise you anything, but it's really up to you to get interviewed. Definitely changed my life. I was able to open 5+ offices, live in 5 different cities with this company, and to be able to help a lot of people. With every person that we help, it's like we're building an asset. With every single person that's going to pay us residually for the rest based off helping them, it's like a win situation. So get the numbers. You know, next time you go out, or a server, bartender, I'm sure you guys have all been to lunch, and you know everyone's trying for the one person, but don't be shy. Ask. The worst they're going to say is no, or I'm not going to give you my number, which that would be sorry for them to be able to you know, potentially miss out on a great opportunity. It's better than ever in the past 13 years to be able to work from anywhere. It just you know, has never been better. So recruiting, referrals, and retention are going to be the keys, you know, like we go over. Stick on personal recruiting, because getting your starting 10, you know, people that do count, personal acquaintances. So your list of contacts, you know, don't prejudge the person. We've had it happen in Wexford, tapping to Tommy, and to where you see someone you know from maybe like high school or college or wherever being interviewed on someone else's team, and be like, oh man, I should have just given that person a call. So you know, that can happen. Personal acquaintances, obviously friends, family, neighbors, waitresses, that'll be a little more popular, everything opening up. Malls, retail workers. If you think what I love recruiting at the mall, because they already work until 9 or 10 o'clock at night, but they make wee little money. And they usually have, you know, you have to wear, I used to like going to Men's Warehouse and trying to recruit the people, obviously buy a suit or two for $1,000, and then they make you get the 2 suits and the ties and the pants and all that. But anyway, it'll be worth it, because someone at Men's Warehouse, they always had a sharp outfit to wear. Every day they have to wear a suit. So a lot of the retail stores, you do have to dress relatively professional. Now with Zoom, even if they have, you know, nice shirts, button downs for the top up, and, you know, flip flops, not that it's recommended, but when you know, the Zoom life, that's, you know, that's what's possible. Retail workers, even the convenience store, maybe not every convenience store worker. There could be some convenience store workers a little more rough around the edges. But, you know, if you're able to connect with this person, and the big role when hiring somebody, because I was always, be honest with you guys, not the best hire, because I want to give people a chance. Somebody would come in and I'll be like, they would just sell me on themselves, and I'll just want to give that person a chance to see what they have. And because in years in this business, you can't judge a book by the cover. Someone could come in and just do an unbelievable job where you never thought that this person would be able to do this much or X amount of business. So, but, you know, obviously athletes, some people that would work in a convenience store, they could definitely, they could definitely work out. Athletes, recruiting ads. It says what does not count for the Legacy Recruit Program. And you guys know they track this in the Spotlight magazine. And for every personal that you get, you obviously get the money and you get all that. And you get the 10,000 towards your Las Vegas, which I'm going to get into the numbers for everybody. Not only that, but you're able to get the gold, silver, and I believe it's bronze levels with the legacy recruiting plaques with the company, your picture in there, and get some recognition. And I do believe you get top gold level. They get extra cash bonuses, thousands of dollars. But use those avenues, especially if you want to have a leadership position, if you want to have a team of 3, 5, 10 individuals, and if you don't know, having the first promotion, which we had a lot of SA promotions, in your first 90 days, when you do recruit somebody, you guys get 150% of that, your whole team's bonus. And what was always amazing about that, not taking from your small team, but as a thank you matched by the company. This is some of the stuff that we we'll go over them in the third interview, but average bonus, we'll call it, is $235. Just for math purposes, let's just say you have your small team, you got promoted, you have 2 people do a little bit above average, $300, and then you have one person that just went over and above and wrote like 8,000 or 9,000 and got over $1,000 bonus. So when these 3 people are in their first 90 days, what was your whole team's bonus?
1,600.
1,600. Then 150% of that,
24.
I think it's 2,000, right?
Wouldn't it be
2,000
plus half?
20,
Right, it's 2,400.
yeah, 24, you're right. Is that for the week of the month?
For a week.
For the week, on top of your enrollment. So that's probably one of the reasons the training, the leadership bonuses, that our company has had the best training, because your supervisor, whether it's whoever it is, they're not going to tell you anything that's not going to make you way more money and to help grow and build your team. So, to be able to get there, have your starting 10, to be able to get your production, get your starting 10. And if in those 10, you don't have to stop there. I mean, you can have your starting 10, 20. And what's great about working with part of a team is you're able to have your 10 and you guys, we're all able to grow together and grow this agency to break the next record. And what's nice, and I go over it with, Marissa and these guys, to where the way our system's set up, you can only lead about 5 people effectively at a time. We could have a team of 20. If I do everything, we're going to have, it's simply because of time. And you want to be able to pour into you and your team and your personal team and run your business. And you get to pick your team. You get to pick who you can work with. And the rule of thumb, if I was able to drive with that person for 2 weeks out in the field, now it's Zoom. It's not quite as much, windshield time, with that individual. But you're going to find some people that you're going to grow that way. So convention qualifications. Who's brand new? If we have anybody out in Zoom land, if we can see up there, who got their first piece of business in January of 2020? Anybody?
2020 or 2020?
2020.
You mean 2021?
2021, yeah.
Oh.
Sorry. This says 2020. Anybody? Do you know your convention number? January. Anyone in January? It's 85,250 net ALP for the year. Okay. Did anybody just get their first piece of business this past month, May? Anybody on there in May? Say yes. If you got your piece of business in May, 54,250 net ALP. So how many more weeks are left in the year?
30.
30?
32, I think. I
32?
My number
You just did 32?
I'm pretty sure.
So divide your number by what your ALP convention number is, and that's where you're getting. Usually they prorate it. It's a little bit over standard, which is a little bit over 2,000 ALP, every single week, 2,000, 3,000, 3,000 definitely guarantees it. But if you started after May 31st, if you just got your first piece of business after May 31st this month, if you hire somebody you know, brand new, the lowest number they prorate it to is 46,500. So any new hire, 46,500, that's going to be the lowest that they do prorate it to. So you can literally have 4 personals, or you can have half of your convention based off of personal. I believe that's the rule. So you could have 4 to get the 40,000 off your convention just by growing your starting, we'll call it your starting 4 of 10. Is that making sense so far? Any questions out there? I know we're everyone just dealing with class here. Any questions in Zoom land?
Yeah, I had a question.
Yes.
So you're saying it goes off our first business, not when we started training?
Yes, your first piece of business that you got, that's actually your hire date. So if you look at your P&P report, that if you go to your impact, it'll say on the top.
I was just checking because I haven't been released
Yeah,
yet.
just ask your manager your hire date, because
Okay.
if you pull up, your manager will be able to pull up your P&P report.
All right.
What's a P&P report? Anyway,
Progress and persistence.
progress and persistency. These are like the eye in the sky. And you can see it, you have your hire date right at the top there of everybody's P&P report.
All right.
The eye in the sky does not lie. So this is, everything is set in stone for that month. What's nice about a P&P report is that it goes over the next 2 months. So it actually does give you time to fix any business that may have come off.
Do you know what the number was for March?
Yes, sir.
For February, please.
Okay, January was 85,250. If you were contracted in February, 77,500. If you were contracted in March, 69,750 net ALP. If you were contracted in April, 62,000 ALP, and then May, 54,250, and then less than 7 months, it's going to be the 46,500 on there. So let's get some people's picture, some recognition. Number one, for your spotlight. Don't wait. Write them down. Write your starting 10 down. Get with your manager. Say, here's who we have, and give them. You're not going to call them a lot of times because you're just going to give them a lot of times TMI. Just give it to your upline manager. Have them set it. If you want to be on it, or have them come to the office, however you guys do your interviews, just coordinate that. But don't wait. Get them on paper, and you guys get them in here so you can start getting these promotions growing.
If we're contracted we started last year, it's 93,000, right, for the full year?
It's 93,000, but once again, every personal, I believe up to half, 10,000 each.
Yeah.
So that could be a very easy way. If you are just starting now, if you're brand new, it's the easiest way to get an unbelievable vacation for you and your family, because 46,000 when you're brand new, especially you get 1 or 2 personals, cut 20,000 off of that to write 26,000. Go shadow Ashley for a month. She'll do that. And get you. That's an unbelievable way to get a great trip for you and your family. And I always went over in the company overviews, guys. What's the best type of vacation?
Free.
A free paid vacation with your family in an exotic place where you're treated like a celebrity. It's going to be cool. So do the math, work backwards, 31 weeks or 32, whatever it is, know your number. You can make a little spreadsheet. I know there used to be a lot of spreadsheets around there where you can plug in your number. It used to be a lot better at Excel. You guys are probably great at it. Steven's probably a whiz on Excel.
No, not at all. I hate Excel.
He hates it. Okay. But when you are promoted, what's nice, they would actually prorate your team's production along with the personal recruit bonus. So you can write 93,000 as of December 31st, or 155,000 first 6 month production. What's first 6 month production? No, that's agents first 6 month production. You're onto something because
That's what they look for retention.
yeah. That's what we've been going over. January to June on your PMP. It's gonna go over, that's 1 to 6, obviously. So in the bottom corner, that's what they base Vegas off of. So not only you do have to have the number, but retention equals convention. And January to June is why you'll see people in the company, they have to have really high quality in these months that we're currently in. If you want to go on the nice trip, you know. So that's making sure that you're solidifying. We're being smart, not sending sick people through, not like letting the people pull a fast one on you. You know, people, they might like look at each other funny, or you might hear one thing like, wait, did you just say about medication? You told me you weren't taking medication. Maybe like, hey, we have to list that medication because they're just going to either find it. And if it's something serious, I had a lady that did tell me about a cancer medication she was on after the cancer, and it was a decline. So you have to make sure certain blood thinners like Coumadin and things like that are serious in terms of even being over 60. You could get a decline like that. Obviously oxygen, just the major red flags. Like if you had a heart attack last year and you're not putting it on the application, like that's going to be a decline, and it's going to hurt your quality and retention. So you can't pull a fast one. Make sure where buyers can be liars, unfortunately. You know, they can try to want to get this program for their family thinking that it's just going to get right through. So sometimes you have to, you know, go through thoroughly, speak clearly when you're asking the medical questions. Pause. Helps people listen. See how you guys really listen a little better there. Plan pauses. It's okay to pause for the question. Plan pause. Got you guys thinking, right? Plan pause are okay. That's like a new agent. You don't have to fill every space with just chill out for a second. It's okay. And then you have to have at least one active first 6 month agent. So 55,000 first 6, that's your team's production to qualify for an essay. So when you do get promoted, it is more about your team and your production as well, but it is more obviously about your team when you are in a leadership position. General agent, so they'll prorate when you get promoted to a GA. You write 205 first 6 month production. That's based off your starting 10, your team, and not only your personals, but when you are promoted, you're gonna have other people that your MGA or you might just fall in your lap for you doing a good job. So that's a great way to grow it. 205 as a GA, and then to get promoted to an MGA, you're writing 300,000 net ALP and 10% growth. And they would also prorate your personal production as an MGA. So many ways to qualify, but the big thing is making sure that we have the quality, number one, January to June. What should our retention goal be? 100? Anybody out there? 100% is a great one. You're not always going to be able to stay perfect, but for retention, we want to shoot to have an 80% retention minimum to have. Or if you like Marissa, 89%, clap it up for Marissa. She has a 30% bonus boost. So you want to get to 89%. She's in her first month of retention, which the stars aligned for her. 10th month, she's at 89%. That equals a 30% bonus boost on that 89. So getting to high quality, you're going to have more releases, higher releases, because your accounts are going to be more full. If that makes sense. So you're going to get not a release is not a renewal. So if you're under 13 months, it's impossible for you to get a renewal check. Those are release checks on those accounts because we're getting a percentage up front and a percentage goes in those back end accounts to where, you know, those are protecting you when you have good quality, especially above 80 to 90%. not only are you gonna get a bonus boost, 10, 20, or 30% of the levels of the bonus boost. That's on top of your bonus. So if she wrote 10,000 ALP, which a top producer, everybody knows here, you can do that easily. 10,000 ALP at 20% bonus level. What's your bonus on that? Pretty easy math. $2,000. Now, what's an extra 30% of $2,000?
$700, $600, $700.
So you just turned a $2,700 bonus for having a great week. So having high quality is something that not only you're going to get the retention, you're going to get all those releases and renewals. Something I believe this is what Ashley Miza. So congratulate Ashley. If you don't know what Founders Club is, you guys know what Founders Club is?
12,000 30 consecutive months.
12,500 net ALP for 4 consecutive months.
Has to be 8 months and
8 months tenure. So you'll get an extra $500 just for hitting that number. So let's take advantage. If the company's dangling free money, let's take advantage of it. You get $500 for Ashley. She got the Founders Club ring, like we went over in the agency meeting. And every time you subsequently qualify, you get a diamond or a ring for your spouse, which is pretty cool. So Founders Club, let's get some more. And then the next one we'll talk about here is the Presidentes Club. What's the President's Club? 175,000 net ALP. This is a serious top producer. Yeah. So you're writing, and you have an 80% 4-month retention rate, which needs to be the goal, because that's just your accounts are going to clear out. You're going to make way more money, and more families are going to be protected when you have a high quality anyway. So you're doing a better job at your job. And I wasn't not always the most competitive, and I always wanted to kind of compete. And just like Tommy's always topping the spotlight, to where when you're topping there, it's not only because you want to see your picture, it's because you're making the most money in that company.
The President's Club, that's just 170, like when you hit 175,000
Yeah, for the calendar year. So
for the
January,
year. Okay.
yeah, 175. But the $1 million ALP club is when you do hit that for your career.
Okay, $1 million club is
Yeah,
$1
yeah.
million in.
Yeah, and you get also bonuses off hitting $1 million in that ALP, 2 and 3 million rings, bonuses, extra days at convention. So just keep these out there for yourself. You can print all these off the Agency Resource Center if you ever lose your notes, or all this information is on the Agency Resource Center. So you can go to American Income Life, AILife.com, click at the top, Agency Resource Center, type your password in. Click agency, it has all the bonuses, everything you could really need. Obviously, you guys know you click underwriting, and that's how you get access to all the questionnaires. So if you forget one, try not to. It's paying corrections. Make sure you ask the question thoroughly. And then if they're taking a medication, or if they were hospitalized, for example, we had a guy that was hospitalized for a motorcycle accident, and he hurt his arm or his shoulder. And if you just put motorcycle accident, hurt his shoulder, what questionnaire are they going to probably need?
The joint.
What's your shoulder? Your shoulder's a joint. So you're probably going to think, I need to put the joint, just to add it in there to be safe. So how do you add a questionnaire? You click the super combo button, and you click over to the right, add, and there's a little plus sign, and it'll pull up all the questionnaires. So get with your manager on that. You can add it if it did not pull it up. What are some questionnaires that you always have to add?
Electronic,
what do you mean?
Some things pop up, like one of them is the back and joint. If obviously if you type their arm or something, it might not always pull that up for you. What are some other questionnaires? If they're self-employed, what's it called? It's a disability/self-employed questionnaire that you have to add, which they may have questions. If a lot of people on the question about brain disorder, mental disease, a lot of people don't just come forward and say, yep, I have a brain disorder and mental disease. You know, that's why I've always added in there, like saying like anxiety, depression, because if they have, for example, ADHD or take Adderall or Ritalin or something like that for the kids, you do have to add that questionnaire. That's not going to always pop up. And they might not always come out and say that. So you have to know that class of medication requires that depression medication, even though they're not saying, yes, I have depression. Does that make sense to everybody? We good? So making sure we're adding the questionnaires to avoid incompletes and sales notes. I mean, no one wants extra work, like doing more sales notes and having to call the client. So take a second look at your medical questions and second look at your application before you validate it to make sure that every questionnaire is added. Respiratory, if they have a little asthma inhaler, respiratory. If they, what are some other ones? I think I'm missing one or two, but some of them you do have to make sure you call your manager if it's a certain situation, make sure you get those added. But lastly, the areas of lost business to where declines, withdrawals, incompletes, not taken out, to where making sure we guys know what to do to avoid these and making sure we're getting the reinstatements, everything that we can to have high quality, not only for your quality, for your accounts, for your renewals, but for the agencies to be above the 80% has to be the goal. So if anyone needs help looking at their P&P, or if you're in the office, I'll be more than happy to go over their P&P with anybody. If you have questions on it. If you look at it the first time, you're gonna think, wow, that's a bunch of numbers. You're not even gonna really know too much to look at, but once you sit down with your manager, you'll be able to go on what your projected levels are going to be, where your net to gross is, and all these things. So how are we doing on time here?
10:40.
I mean, any questions? I'll open it up to the audience here. Any questions you guys have about, I was going to go over some other stuff. It's not really like what we know. It's sometimes in this business what we know and are not doing, like rolling referrals, like the catch-up program, like having 50% of your scheduled referrals. If you got to set 20 appointments for the week, you should have 10 of them being referrals if you want to be profitable, because a true sales professional doesn't rely on a lead, period. You're generating so many referrals. You have to get the 5 or 10 referrals off of each every home. It's like I got a scar. But anything else, I was going to go over some catch-up program, any hard card or lead, even a will kit or child safe, do the catch-up program. Say, you know, there was a problem, especially with the union ones who want to capitalize and say there's a problem, whether it be not everyone returned the card. Some people didn't realize what it was or didn't get it back in time, or we got it and they were smudged. So what they have everybody doing is the catch-up program. They're having all the guys you work closest to, list 2 or 3 guys you work close to, perhaps bump elbows with. That way I can check the system. That way I can just check the system and make sure they did get their updated package just like you today. And if they did not, I will definitely push them to the head of the list and take really good care of them to make sure they get everything they're entitled to and eligible for being a member. So who did you want to check for first? Head down, writing, name. I would sometimes get 3 names and then circle back. Okay, the way we check this is by the number. Who would you go to have wings with, or who are you closest to at the spot? I know you talked to somebody. So sometimes you have to just take the referrals. The referral, it's the first sale. Getting the referrals 5 or 10, that means you're being referable. They trust you. They like you. They feel comfortable giving you. If they're not willing to give you referrals, you might be creeping them out a little bit. Or maybe you didn't build enough rapport. Maybe you're not being referable enough or adding enough value to those names and numbers. So rapport. Great rapport, being professional. I mean, that's just little tips on getting more referrals and taking them. Don't ask for them. You have to be kind of a little bit like you're helping these people, but people have the wrong idea. So you have to step out of your comfort zone and just get the names 5 or 10. Maybe just get the 10 names and then circle back for the town and number. Is that 773 or 312? circle back, because once you have momentum, it's weird. I think back to being in the home in years, and some people, I don't know anybody. Ask a couple times, or ask next part, discount card, child safe, ask next. Well, maybe one or two, and the next thing you know, floodgates come out. You have like 17. So it's like, what happened between that and that? They just got comfortable with you. So even with the sale, sometimes it could take 5 no's. Never really crossing that bad line, that fine line of having a PR complaint or always doing a good job. What does ALP stand for besides annualized life premium?
Another life protected.
Another life protected. What else? In terms of PR, I was going to always leave positive is what we like to say about ALP, to where we never want to lose a group of, one jerk, or, you always heard it, the customer's always right, never really beefing with the client at the end, especially at the end. You're not going to get a sale like beefing with them. I found that out, and, go alongside with them. That's what I always loved, like Field Felt Found. Go over and talk about that one a lot in training. It's in the playbook. So if you haven't had the playbook, revisit that, because that's a system, whether it's scheduling tips in that playbook are unbelievable. Those are from like Jim Surace and people who train Simon, Tommy, and everybody, pretty much the system. Scheduling tips, for example, booking the ends for a new agent, making sure your new agent's not booking at 8 a.m. and then a 9 p.m. and a noon. That way your whole day, rather get everybody together. That way you have momentum. Like Tiger Woods, when he was golfing, he didn't just take one hole and take a 2-hour break. You got to get warmed up, especially when you're learning a new craft like this. You want to use that first presentation, get warmed up, get your mouth going. I would always book a senior at 1 o'clock, maybe like 75 years old, the one person you weren't really too excited to see in your lead pack, just to get my presentation warmed up on for the next one. That way I was ready to collect referrals, ready to go over to Sobate. I was just ready, warmed up, lubed up, got the rust off. Red Bull down at that time. Don't drink them too much anymore. I used to love Red Bulls, and you get all fired up before the appointment, go in there and just have the energy, because enthusiasm, that's like the secret ingredient. Even if you have to fake it, getting excited about it, and the rapport, can't skip the rapport building questions. And just listening to them, you hear it a lot. 2 ears, 1 mouth. They don't really care much about you. You want to maybe add a few things about you, your family, things, but people they like to hear about themselves. What's their favorite sound to their eardrums? What is it?
Their voice.
Their name. What book's that from?
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
There you go. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Read that one. If you haven't read it, I read it probably 2 or 3 times. I still read it again. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There's more in that one than most of the books I've read in business or self-development. You can read that one 3 times and still find new things in that one, especially that one that, what's the one Tommy reads? The Mind is the Master, the real thick one. You could read that probably 5 times and still find things. So those books, obviously Sell or Be Sold, get that audio. If you didn't get that one yet, it's free, I believe, on SoundCloud. Grant Cardone, Sell or Be Sold. I always listen to Tom Hopkins on YouTube. That's where I got a lot of my sales fundamentals. Tom Hopkins audio. But that's pretty much it. We'll open up to any questions out there. What do you guys got for me? Recruiting, referrals, retention, quality.
How do you call the catch-up referrals?
How do I call the catch-up referrals? So
If you don't roll them, what do you call
right,
them?
if you don't roll, how do you call the catch-up referrals? It's a great one, because it's almost like a hybrid. It's like a half referral and half union lead, right? So it should be the easiest thing to set, because if a referral is higher close and 66% because you're tied to that individual, it's even better now. So you're improving all your ratios by rolling a catch-up referral. You're making it a better referral. You're tied to their group. You have the actual letter signed by their president. You can show them. So I would just say, hey, I was actually just over Joe's house. We wrapped up his program. He loved the benefit program. And during he actually told me to give you a call. I promised them I would actually go over this with you. You were the ones that we checked the system that hadn't received their updated package. So I always used to call them and say, hey, Joe, they sent you a letter probably a while back. I don't know if you remember receiving that letter. There was a card, and I was actually over to see your buddy. So you see, I always lead in with, they sent you a letter, see if they kind of remember that, ever receiving it, and then I'll kind of get a stamp for, yeah, they sent me a letter, I returned that, or they saw me last year. Whatever they tell me, I'm gonna book that appointment. I don't care if they were seen last week, last month, last year, or 10 years ago. We're booking the appointment. You should feel the same way too, because even if they were seen by Steven or Marissa last week, they would have probably done a good job, and maybe they're ready to buy this week because they thought all week about what Steven told them. So you should always think the book, I don't care if you were just seen, and I always tell people, that's exactly why I was calling, just to re-educate you, to make sure you are clear with everything that you already have and everything that you are entitled to and eligible for being a member in good standing. Does that make sense? So,
Follow-up question.
follow-up question.
How do you approach a SID if you know that they were just seen like a week ago?
How do I approach a SID if I know they were seen a week ago? So I would gauge what that agent went over with them, what they remember, what stuck out to them, who they saw. If they saw Marissa, I'll probably call Marissa, hey, what was this client like, or what did you go over with them? Because they got, oh, you didn't code your lead, I'm going to see him now, Marissa. Thank you, by the way. Yeah, I would just try to kind of gauge what they went over, maybe slightly abbreviated, but it really depends. They may have got lost connection and didn't see anything.
Yeah.
I've sat with people before, they went through everything, and the previous agent didn't even try to sell them insurance, or didn't even try to they just gave them the kit and left. I was like, how is that even possible? So never really prejudge, just go over maybe a slightly abbreviated rapport. But if they were just seen, I would just gauge where they were at and just kind of angle off what they have and just go through your presentation, because someone may have approached it completely different, especially with another agency or years ago. They may have just went over something completely different, or maybe pitched one angle. What I love about POS, you can go in and you can educate them on it, or show them a gap in their coverage they may have not ever have seen, whether it's in the mortgage, or whether it's the income protection, or whether maybe they have a new child, so maybe they need a Head Start program. Maybe they have grandkids. Maybe they didn't know they could get the grandkids guaranteed insurability for the rest of their entire lives. A lot of grandparents are doing it. So Head Start programs, guys, add them. That was always one of my last resorts, kind of, to where maybe grandma didn't qualify. They love their grandkids. That's why I'm planting seeds early. Like, do you ever hear the Gerber Group? We beat it by 50%. Best part about it, while parents and grandparents do it, it guarantees your child's insurability for the rest of their entire life. They can add up to $150,000 of permanent guaranteed coverage, zero medical questions. It's amazing. So even if they literally had cancer, God forbid, any disease or illness, they can add this. Because you guys thought about them and did this today, you're growing them a guaranteed 4.5% interest. They have paid up options, guaranteed they can take it over forever. Some kids use it for school books. For grandparents would buy their grandkids school books with the cash that's building. By the time they're age 20, it's over $1,000 to $2,000, depending on the level they choose. So all these different things. So that would always be, if mom or dad, for some odd reason, or grandma couldn't qualify, I would explain, look, we can at least get the Head Starts for the kids. And now you're a member, we can always come back to you. Because like I went over, they do it on the enrollment period. So at least if we get the kids, I'll be able to at least give, grandpa access to the rates next year when he can qualify. Because sometimes you have to wait till someone is 60 to give them a better chance of getting some whole life coverage. And that's why we have a great program to where you're focusing on the freedom of choice. Don't overcomplicate it with seniors. It's never going to be heavily rated, because a lot of companies, if they look, they can show you a better rate, but once it goes through underwriting, especially if they're on medications, it's not going to be the rate. So that's kind of, I've seen it a lot to where you could appear, but it's not the freedom of choice. It's not gonna be a better guaranteed program, and most important, they don't get to work with you and work with our great company, so. Another question? Any questions out there? You guys have a tough one? Any rebuttals you guys are getting, or let me see here.
How do you
I'd
sell
like to
sometimes?
ask a quick question about the I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about it, if you guys are big on it, but the $2,000 accidental policy,
Yes.
right?
You-
But
You know, that's just what I love about that. Enter your referrals into the impact and it generates it for you. And you can actually print it and send it to them. And it adds a lot of credibility when it has our company, their name, their sponsor, and the $2,000 AD&D for them already generated into your impact. So if you make sure you're entering your referrals into your impact during your presentation or directly after. You hit sponsors at the top of your e-app and add sponsors. It'll make your life a lot easier, and you'll have leads that are popping up into your impact, whoever's name you're putting it on. So if you're under your manager's name, it'll go into your, so when you have yours, it'll put it to your code directly into your impact like a couple hours later. So you're able to call them more efficiently, you never lose them, and they're actually on your schedule. And it generates the $2,000 certificate for them. So yeah, I love the $2,000 certificate, especially when your referrals are in your impact. Because you have a contingent beneficiary. I can show them, hey, I'm sending you, this is your policy, your mom sponsored for you, and she bought from me. You see how that's just a little bit better than, hey, you're the beneficiary, but you're the contingent beneficiary. I'm gonna explain to you what you would do to make a claim on mom's freedom of choice. And now, because she sponsored you, you have your own and access to them just because of this. So I know you're gonna love it. Just know it.
So when someone is referred, they get that, what is it, $2,000 of AD&D for a year?
Yep.
And then so you can basically be like, yeah, because you were sponsored in, you get this free
Yep.
insurance policy.
And in about 100 years with this company, not one time did a member ever die and they send any of that money back. They always need it desperately. And a lot of times they need a lot more. So that's why they have this program set up to where 2,000, every penny makes a difference when anybody dies. Always. So that's like adding value to a non-selling area with the AD&D. I would always throw that into my presentation. I would say, you know what, Joe, you're right. $3,000, not a lot of money. It would barely take care of half your cremation or a portion of your funeral. Because when Joe dies, Mary, every penny makes all the difference in the world. So that's planting a seed during the AD&D, little something extra, little hot sauce on there for you.
When you put that into the presentation,
Right after the AD&D. Yeah, that's selling in a non-selling area. You get them really thinking about, and it adds value to something that doesn't really have a ton of value to some people. Yeah, then do the catch-up program. Just take advantage of those for sure. Hey, you have a question out there? Another one?
Steven had one about selling over 70.
Selling over 70, well, they
Yeah.
can get 5,000, freedom of choice. That's it. Most, if not all, your services will be handled with the freedom of choice. And then hopefully we'll be able to see them years and updated if need be for inflation. But right now, I don't know if they're gonna change that back with the 70 thing, but yeah, if they're 70, it could be 5,000 right now, so. Referrals, collect referrals for sure.
That's just during COVID at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure that's just like a current guideline. But I have them all printed on the back of my board if anyone needs all the COVID guidelines, and you may have them as well.
Maybe get.
Looks like we got time for one more. Anybody else?
They most likely have kids, that's why they're probably getting it.
One more question? What's something you're thinking about or you want to talk about here today? Don't be shy. One more. All right, well, let's bring it home. No more questions. Let's get everyone, just do your part, get your starting 10. Let's get your extra revenue stream and start to build your business. You're the CEO, you're the GM, you're the GM of your team. You get to run your own business here. So let's bring it home. Let's rock it. let's bring home a huge, let's get this 85,000 a week is what we really need. And while some of the leaders are out, fun the sun, this is your time to shift gears and get ahead and get geared up for Vegas for you and your family. So know your numbers, track your numbers. If you have any questions, call me, email me. Let me know if you need my help. Take care, guys. Love you guys. Let's rock it today. Bring it home.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Casey. You're welcome.